Okay, so now that we understand that our unconscious mind has a lot of control, and we've talked a little bit about mindware, we're going to dive more into the kind of mindware we have and how we actually process our reality, our thoughts, our decisions, our behaviors, everything. All right? So first of all, let's think of our mind as a funnel. All right? And I know it doesn't look like that, but let's think about it. So we have sensory inputs, right? And then it gets processed. So here's the thing that really got me hooked on this modern science, all right? So the first thing you need to know is that we take in, ready for this? 11 million bits per second of data, all right? We take in 11 million bits from our senses, from our sight, our sound, our hearing, our feeling, our tastes, our smells, that 11 million bits. Now, your unconscious mind filters all of that. All right, so it has the responsibility to select out of that 11 million bits what it believes is important that your conscious mind needs to act on as reality. All right, now it selects this through filtering, and we're going to come back and talk about that. But here's what I want you to see up front. So that 11 million bits becomes a data packet that is given to your conscious mind every second that is your reality. All right. And that data packet is 127 bits per second. That's right. Out of 11 million bits, your unconscious mind picks 127. Now, what's even more interesting is that your conscious mind cannot process that 127 bits a second. It is not a supercomputer like we've been led to believe. In fact, it deletes randomly some of that reality it's been given, and it only acts on 57 bits a second. That's right. So much for us as the major supercomputers of the world, right? So now, let's talk about the programs up here that help drive the filtering, because this is where your mindware lives, all right? So first of all, we have programs that are known as instincts, right? And we've all heard of instincts. For example, with instincts, we have fight or flight, which is what happens when somebody points a gun at us and we decide to run or put our dukes up, right? We have herd instincts. We've all seen people group up. We have all of these instincts, right, that are mindware that every single one of us has, and we all have exactly the same instincts, all right? So each one of these little circles is a mindware program, all right? Now, we also have something known as preferences, all right? And preference programs, so let's put some of those in here. And by the way, there's millions of these programs, all right? Preferences, and I'm going to go over here. Preferences, all right, are programs that we all have, but we all decide where we fall on a continuum based on this specific preference. And preferences control things like what motivates us or not, whether we receive a communication compellingly, effectively, or whether it comes in jumbled, how we like to be led, the kind of environment we need to be in to be productive. There's all kinds of things. And depending on which field of science you follow, there's anywhere from 18 to 24 preference programs. All right, and we will talk about those more as we go along. All right, so we all have instincts and we all have preferences. The instincts are the same. The preferences are the same, other than we define where we go. And you know what? Let's do a quick example of those. So for example, have you ever had a conversation with somebody that wasn't performing in their role, and you gave them the, you know what, you really need to step up or else we're going to have to move you out of the organization. And afterwards it was like, they didn't even care. Nothing changed. Well, that was a result of a mismatch across alignment in how you tried to trigger their motivation and what actually motivates them. All right, and so here's the simple explanation. Some of us on motivation are triggered away from what we don't want. So we're triggered away from something scary. Some of us are triggered by moving toward something we do want, right? We want the cookie, we want the raise, we want the promotion. So if you have a person who is a toward motivated person and you try to trigger them with a threat like losing their jobs, guess what the unconscious mind does? Well, here's my trigger that says I'm toward, and this away comes in here. Well, guess what? it doesn't match the toward, so your unconscious mind deletes it, and it never reaches down into this 57 bits of your reality, so your conscious mind doesn't act on it. Now, does that explain a lot? All right? So those are preferences and instincts, right? And now let's talk about the third program, which are experiential programs. And these are by far the most powerful and the most prevalent in our minds. So I'm going to draw a lot of these. Now, these programs, right, these experiential programs are built based on your life. And these are why no two of us are the same, all right? They are based on what we're taught as children, what we learn as adults, what we learn all through our life. So, for example, let's say that as a child you were taught that you were clumsy, all right? So let's say this is the clumsy program, all right? What happens is, because you were taught you were clumsy, the data, the inputs that come in that reflect a match with the clumsy, they fall through and make you clumsy, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because those are the programs you see in your reality. Anything that could come in information-wise that might make you think you could be an athlete or think you could dance or whatever, because they don't match this set of experiential programs that are clumsy, you got it, they get deleted or they get distorted so that they match and make you clumsy. But this is why these are the programs that tend to bind our minds and get us so stuck in the way we've always done it, along with a few instincts. So that's a quick overview about the mindware in your mind. God, that was repetitive, mindware in your mind. And next we're going to talk about a little bit more about experiential, and we're going to go through these and talk a little bit about how they impact. All right?